Good morning, everybody. Chef Terry here with Main Course Cooking School Live. As we usually do, we always start a little bit early so people can find us, people can get online and with us, get all of your ingredients together. I'm going to give you about 3 more minutes or so, but I want you to make sure that you have a baking pan, something to line it with. You don't absolutely have to have a liner, but trust me, as anyone who does dishes, you're going to want a liner for this. 6 whole eggs, some whole milk. You're only going to need a tablespoon of this. Half a cup of cheese, some green onion, salt and pepper. And so run around, get all of those ingredients, and of course your muffin tin. Oh, already a question, throw it at me. We're going to cook the bacon together. So don't worry about that right now. It's only going to take about 4 or 5 minutes of it in the oven for it to be where we need it. Okay, so I will see you guys in about 3 minutes, 2 minutes or so. Just want everybody else to be able to hop on, and then we're going to get started. Okay, see you in a minute or 2. Hey guys, we're back. So everybody have all of their things together? Let's go one more time over what you need. You're going to need a dozen strips of bacon, or however much bacon you have. You know, loose and fast, fast and loose. We have 6 whole eggs. We have a tablespoon of whole milk, a half a cup of mozzarella cheese. It can be any kind of cheese you want. I mean, really, any kind of cheese you want is going to be perfect with eggs. So even a smoky blue cheese, parents. So moms, make your request now for what you want on Sunday. And green onions. I just grabbed a small amount of green onion. I don't like it very much. So what we're going to do, what we need to do first is we need to get our bacon onto our tray that I have lined, mostly just because I don't like cleaning bacon grease off the trays. So hands are clean, super clean, and I'll be washing them again after this. Just take your bacon and lay it out on the tray. And honestly, I'm not sure how many I grabbed today. I think I only grabbed like maybe 9 pieces, 8 pieces. But this nice big bacon, this will do us well. Just lay it out. You don't want this bacon to be touching each other. So just lay it out nice and even, straight if you can, because we don't want it to curl up. We will only be partially cooking this bacon. So if you have already cooked your bacon and it's to the point where you can crumble it, we'll talk about that. It's not going to be the end of the world at all, but you are going to need to go and get some pan release spray, or you know what I mean. That stuff that comes in the spray, starts with sounds like Pam, but not. So I was able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on mine. This is going to make plenty. Your oven, if you guys caught that email or that Facebook message that I sent out to you already, your oven is preheated at 375, and this just goes in the oven. You're going to love this. If you're not familiar with baking your bacon, you're going to love this. Makes life so much easier. Just put it in, close the door. We had all that bacon, so now I am going to wash my hands. So if you have any questions at this point, just start typing. We'll get them answered. "20 seconds of hand washing." Let's hear those questions, guys. So also I want to make sure that you have a dry kitchen towel ready, or an oven mitt. So you will definitely need those to pull this out when it is time. Okay. Check Terry's mic. So you guys are having trouble, so we're gonna, okay. Okay guys, is this any better for you? So just, I can speak up a little bit as well. Obviously we have really good sound like on our side of this usually. So a lot of the problem could just be with your connection. It just could be the button on your computer or your laptop or however you're watching me today. So I apologize. I mean, it sounds really good here. So I hope that cleared it up for you guys. So let's get going. If any of you have ever made a quiche, this one's slightly different. We want to make sure that it's more eggy and it's more firm, so it really holds its shape inside these cups. So what we're going to do, our ratio is very different than what you've probably used before. I'm going to use 6 eggs and a tablespoon of milk. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to get my milk, and this is full fat, good old cow juice. If you have issues with lactose, I'm not sure what you're going to be doing for the cheese and all of that other good stuff, but an unsweetened nut milk would be fine. So let's talk about cracking eggs. So today's class is really about techniques of how we do certain things in the kitchen. So I have 6 eggs, and we have to break these without getting shells in and all that kind of good stuff. This is going to be my bowl to just put my shells in, but I want to show you, when you're cracking an egg, it's all about muscle memory. You want to crack on the long side. Yes, I have seen people crack eggs on the tops and bottoms, but let's crack it on the side. One little whack, a good whack. Okay? And you can see I've got an indentation going. Okay? This little indentation, crack is coming along. This is where your thumbnails go. Okay? Just get them in, put them over where you're going to be putting the egg, and just pull the egg apart. Okay? 5 more to go. But what I want to show you is let's do this one more time. Let's do it all together. You ready? Egg and side and a whack. Okay? I went a little heavy on that one, but I have a nice crack. Okay? I got to get my thumbnails in, put it over to where you're going to be, where that egg goes finally, and just open it up and pour it in. So, and you can see I don't know if you can see that, but I cracked a little hard. It got everywhere. Let's talk about, you don't have to do this for this recipe, but let's talk about separating eggs. We have a little bit of time today to play with, so I want to show you that, and I'm going to move this over to the side. So again, long side. This is probably the hardest part, is knowing exactly how hard to crack that egg. Okay? So now we do the exact same thing. Put your fingers in, and know that you've done this twice now. You know that the white or the albumin comes out first. So I like to start pulling it apart, and then I tilt my egg up. The yolk stays in, and then I just pour that yolk very slowly into the other side, and letting the side of that eggshell just separate that yolk. I just wanted to show you that because a lot of people actually do have trouble with that. No reason I can't show you again. So here we go, almost in real time. This will happen. Hit it again a little hard. And so my egg's wanting to just open all on its own. So I'm going to be super careful. This is not about speed. I don't know how many times in these online classes I've said that, and even in personal classes, that this isn't about speed. This is about just being diligent with what you have to do. Okay? Now, the good old trick, crack, open, just let it fall out. Again, that's I love this one. Because if you are like me, sometimes you're making gallons and gallons of mousse, then you are cracking 30, 40 eggs. And at some point, you just get to the part where you just have to crack 2 at a time and just keep going. happens. Okay, we've got our eggs. Any questions so far? Okay. A fork would work perfectly fine with this. A whisk is just as well. But what I want you to do, instead of working so hard to get all these mixed together, start by breaking up the yolks. Okay. My milk is already in there. Okay. Now when you're whisking, this is just stirring with one little time, right? If you see someone doing that, that's not even really a good stir. What you want to do is hold that whisk overhanded, so your hand is over the top of the whisk. Nice and very, very close, just as like you've done with knife work. You want to hold very, very close to what you're actually doing. And then in really small sections, start whisking back and forth. Okay? So you can go back and forth on the whole bowl, but you see it's going to just right over. So do it in small little areas, and that's going to be breaking up that egg. Okay. And then when everything is together and becoming more homogeneous, tilt that bowl just a little bit, and then start with that whisking of eggs that you know. And the technique is going to be exactly the same with a whisk and a fork. You need to make sure that your eggs, the egg yolks and the egg whites, are all mixed together. We don't want bits of white in there. You just get it all mixed together. So you can see when it runs off that it's not running and blopping down in whites or clear and yellows. So we've got that done. I'm not going to throw this away quite yet because I need to season. This is just a 50-50 salt and pepper mixture. And for 6 eggs, I don't have well, it's over there. You know what? Let's measure it. 6 eggs, I would say, if I was just making scrambled eggs, a 1/4 teaspoon, right, for like 1. So let's do a good 1/2 teaspoon for all of this. 1/2 and 1/2. So 3/4 teaspoon. I think that's going to be great. Okay? We don't have to go too crazy with the salt and the pepper. Well, with the salt because bacon, right? Speaking of, I'm going to pull this out of the oven. So by my calculations, we've been doing this for about 10 minutes. My bacon is exactly where I want it. Okay? And it smells delicious. So let me get paper towels here. And I'm just gonna make a mess. That's fine. So lay out paper towels. Definitely do put them on a tray or something. You don't want mom on Mother's Day to come in and see the kitchen that you've just laid out bacon. Greasy bacon on the counter. She's not gonna be happy. So, I'm just going to take a pair of tongs. You can do it with a fork, but you see it's still very, very soft, okay? If it's not soft, and we touched on this just in the very beginning, this bacon isn't soft and it's already really crispy, then you're not going to be able to get it to form inside of your muffin cups. So, always undercook on this very first step. If you have gotten your bacon nice and crispy, what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that our muffin tin is really well sprayed, and we're going to crumble our bacon, and we're just going to add it as an ingredient. Okay? That's going to go there. I can get rid of this. But you see, I mean, and this is what I'm talking about. This is, imagine the mess that you would have if you were trying to fry up 9 or 12 pieces of bacon. It would be a mess. Don't need this. Excuse my back. I'm going to get some more paper towels, and I'm just going to blot this. It should already actually be cool enough to touch. If it's not, you wait. Don't want anybody getting burned. Okay. Okay, so bacon, we're gonna let that cool just a little bit more. Get things out of my way. Yeah, that's exactly what you think just happened. Okay, green onion. This has a little schmutz on it from the egg. It's not that big of a deal because everything is getting cooked, all in the, literally all in the exact same place. I have a question. No. I can't think of anything that would work in that way because it needs to form, it needs that protein to form around the bottom of it. So instead of using bacon, if you like Bacos, because Bacos are totally vegan, like I said, follow along as we were doing. If you had already cooked your bacon to crumble stage, you want to spray this really, really, really well, okay? And then we're just going to add our eggs to that and then add the toppings in it. So let's get our green onion. So I'm going to be using these nice little muffins. So mom could eat, mom could eat 4 or 5 of these, and it's not a big deal. So we want to use, I like those little ones. So when you're doing things that go into something small, or your final presentation is going to be small, all of your ingredients need to be small. Okay. So you don't want to try to put, a big green onion just in that cup. So I'm going to just slice my green onion, and I'm going to be a little fancy. And instead of just cutting it straight up and down, I'm going to hold my knife at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to cut them. We call that just cutting them on the bias. And why? Because it looks nice. Some things actually have a very different flavor depending on how you cut them. Think about just biting into an apple and you just have a big chunk of apple in your mouth, opposed to a nice thin slice of apple or pear, anything like that. They taste very different depending on how you are consuming them. So there's my little bitty green onions. Now you can use one of two techniques for this. If you have a large muffin tray, excuse me, if you have a large muffin tray, go ahead. My bacon it's a little above room temperature, but it's fine. You do want to cut your bacon in half. Of course, lay it down, just cut it in half. If you don't know where the half exactly is, fold it in half, and then just cut it. I'm using, or if you are using a very small muffin tin, I want to cut these in thirds. So just slice, lay over the top. That way, look at that. I know that I had thirds. Put it back. Let's see if I can get thirds again without messing up. There you go. I'm pretty pleased with myself. Over. You're just using that first cut piece to be. Ooh, I didn't do so good on that. Nobody look at that. You can see this one is much smaller. And it's getting this one got a little crunchy. Something's happening, guys. I'm going to get rid of this piece just because it was straggly, wasn't very good. This piece of bacon, oh, you know what? I can just take the meat off of those pieces that aren't so nice, and we're going to chop those up and put it into our quiche as well. Thirds. If you're doing halves, you are surely done before I am. Oops. Ripping them up like I didn't care, but I do. And last piece. Just make sure that you're cutting through. I was getting a little sloppy there, so make sure you're cutting through so that you don't rip your bacon. We don't want that to happen. Okay, so I have a little bit of green onion. I have my cheese. My egg mixture is ready. If you wanted to make these a little richer, go ahead and use like a heavy cream. Nothing sweet, of course, but just a heavy cream would be delicious as well. So you are going to need, getting ahead of myself, let's get these babies wrapped up, okay? Take your bacon, put it going, let's think about the face of a clock. So let's go from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, okay? See, this bacon is soft, it's mostly cooked, but it's still fluffy soft. And then what might be easier, rotate your pan and do 9 to 3 o'clock again. I think that just might be easier. Okay. And then grab another piece of bacon, 9 to 3. You don't want to keep moving your pan around. Then you go 12 to 6. And then you do it again. You see, this can go quick. You really do just, get your fingers in there. We're clean. Fingers in there. Make sure that it's laying on the bottom. I'm gonna be able to do maybe one more. So, and this is actually, we probably will end up with the same amount because you guys had 12 pieces. I didn't. But the recipe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The recipe is really only to make 6, but 6 big ones. And so I was able to make 10 little babies. I'm going to save these little bits of just the meat. And I'm just going to put that in with some of these. So, this is super simple, but what I want you to do before you start to fill these, put these on a tray. Okay? Just so much easier, so much cleaner to work this way. Take your mixture. You might be doing this with a spoon. If you want to, you can put this in a measuring cup that has a really good spout. But it's going to be very, so what you want to see, you see how this pours out and when I stop, it stops? That's the reason we really want to make sure that our mixture is really well combined. Because if you have a big, long, slobby thing of egg white, it's going to just fall with gravity. Okay? Very carefully pour that in and give it a little tap down. Don't go too crazy. These do, like, anytime you've had scrambled eggs, they rise. So don't go too crazy with your filling. And yes, some of this filling is going to ease and ooze down below the bacon. That's not going to be a problem at all, especially not with the bacon if you're using that as your crust, because it's going to release a lot more oil, and so they'll be easy to pull out. Ooh, that one might be my favorite one. I like that, the way that looks. So you can see how these are poking up over the edges of the pan. So those bits are going to get really crispy. And so the ones on the bottom, they're not going to be crispy, but we are going to make sure that they're cooked. Okay, so just don't go too crazy with filling these. So I have a lot more filling left. You probably don't if you're using the big cups. Let's go ahead, let's add just a little bit of bacon to some of them. Can't have too much bacon, right? And put one, oops, I missed. Get in there. And one here, and one here. So, you know, save your greens for the end because that's what you want to be able to see that when it's cooked. And this is just grated, shredded mozzarella. Again, you can use any kind of cheese you want. Don't go too crazy with it, but just enough so you create a little crust on top of cheese. What would be absolutely delicious in this is, you know, if Mom really likes a blue cheese, a smoky blue cheese, just a little bit crumbled inside, that's going to be, especially with the bacon, that's going to be magnificent. She's gonna love that. Goat cheese. Goat cheese would be good. Fontina cheese, provolone cheese, like a really good provolone cheese, which has so much flavor. That would be delicious in here as well. And you know what? If Mom doesn't like cheese, don't put cheese. And then, like I said, these are just, there's a lot of flavor in them. Don't think that we're, you know, just using it as decoration. There's a ton of flavor in the green onion. So, oops, missed. We will definitely know that they are in there, but they're gonna add so much decoration and be really pretty. One other thing you can do with these at the end, when they come out of the oven, is you can have some minced parsley ready. And you can put that very fine minced parsley on top of the, or spread the mellow out onto a platter, however you're serving Mom. And then just sprinkle nice and high over the platter with that beautiful parsley. It would look gorgeous. So my towel's a little wet, I have one there. But these are gonna go in the oven, 375. And this is going to take, what did we say guys? It takes about 10 minutes for the small ones. It's going to take between 15 and 20 for the big ones, if that's what you have. You don't want to stand around and just watch it cook. So we have the magic. So I figured out how they do that magic of television thing. I cooked these before. So there's just 3. I didn't want to use up all my ingredients, so I just used 3 of them. And you're gonna want, more than likely, you probably have a little, this is called an offset spatula. It's really springy, right? It's thin so you can move it around, but it's going to be able to get down inside these cups and just release. If you have a butter knife, absolutely perfect. Pull out your quiche cup. These will come out. I should have loosened these as soon as they came out of the oven because that the baking grease gets absorbed back into it, so it's not quite working as a non-stick spray. Okay, and another one. And I'm gonna clean this one up just a little bit. Just do it. You know what that tastes like? Bacon. It's very bacon, guys. But most everybody loves bacon. This would, come to think of it, this would work really well with turkey bacon. I know people, you know, it's kind of weird stuff, but it will hold its shape really well. And then you would have to just cook it probably a minute in the microwave and then line your cups with it and it would be perfect. But hey, whose mom wouldn't want that? Let me take this off, and I'll eat that. So, that's what we've made today. We have 10 more in the oven, but these I made before class so that you could see them. They're really pretty. It's like some sort of flower with a beautiful yellow center. You can see the, just those little bits of green onion are poking through, so you have some more color. Bacon has that reddish tinge to it. It's really a beautiful presentation. Mom's gonna love this. What I'd like you to do is, let me see what you can do. So, bake your quiche up, plate them out for me, take a picture. I wanna see those pictures. I wanna see those pictures of you with your food, not just some food just laying around. See if I can do this again without spilling anything. Nope, I'm gonna spill it again like I did on Tuesday. So, a good, cheesy pictures. Cheesy pictures are great. And that is our recipe for today. If you guys enjoyed this, give us a like, give us thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff that they say. If you feel like giving a donation for today's class, please do. That information is on our website or on our Facebook page. So keep us going, help spots. It's just really to help us buy ingredients for the more classes that we do. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Moms, I hope you have a great Mother's Day coming up. And enjoy. Make sure those kids do those dishes. Bye, everybody.